That's a good number. Where's my... All right. I think I got that. Let me know when you see it on your Facebook.
I believe it's coming up now. It's
You believe?
there.
You believe so?
Yep.
Let me see if I can get unified chat today, Quest, because I've been telling you that I'm not excited about using OneStream because they can't get this unified chat piece right. That's my problem. Take your life back. Go live on that too.
No worries. These are our growing pains.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, y'all. So hey, I'm just making sure I send this to random extra platforms. That's why you're having to listen to me just ramble. Because I need this to go to different places. Let me see. Well, it's on my normal Facebook page, so I'll just push play on that so I can at least see the people on my normal page.
Yep, I done put it up on my normal page as well.
Oh, I should probably mute that. Mute. And unified chat is not working. It's not working. I don't like that. It's not working. What up, y'all? I hope you're doing well. Looks like Quest is doing well. Let me test something here. Let me see if you like this, Jay. You like that?
I like that.
Okay.
I like that.
Cool. Yeah, so you're seeing 2 quests and 2... No, you're seeing... Wow. It depends on how good your eyes are.
Yeah.
If you look over my left... over my left shoulder, you might be seeing like...
Yeah, I see.
1,000 quests, but your eyes have to be really good to see them 1,000 times. Those endless windows.
You gotta have magnifying. You know what I'm saying?
Don't ask me why I have us up and my screen up over my shoulder on the TV.
I think it's dope.
If it's distracting you, I'm sorry. I'm feeling a little creative and bored at the same time today, so I figure I'll just put that up on the TV.
The life of creators, right?
Yeah, and Jay and Quest is just pushing random buttons on his studio. Hey, I'm not paying. Special ed's probably cool with you, but BMI is not cool with me.
BMI is not
cool with me.
Us.
So, all right, y'all. So here what? We are going to begin the program.
Yep.
Marriage Ain't for Suckers program officially. I'm not seeing nobody on my page at this moment, but I'm sure they're going to come up. I don't know about you. Oh, there he is. He is somebody. I see Tyrell. Tyrell is in there.
Shouts out to Tyrell.
Yeah.
Muhammad.
Yeah, he's the colonel, man.
Can I get that from Mr. Muhammad?
There you go. You always on a tribe. The tribe is always in your brain.
It's all. I mean, it's funny, man. The years that I spent in them studio sessions, bro. Let me tell you something. You can't forget.
Wow.
And then of course it's stuff that like really, it was music like that really moved you. I remember being in a couple of those sessions and watching Tip just pull records out of a bag and make samples and unbelievable, bro.
Can I tell you what I used to experience, bro?
What?
So when Fife, the late Fife Dog, our brother,
yeah.
Malik, we were young boys because he's older than us by what, 3 years, I guess. He'd have been older than us by 3 years. So we're in elementary school and he was talking about his aspirations to be an MC.
Mm-hmm.
And so before I was in grade 8, that's all I remember. Before I was in grade 8. I was not in high school yet because I didn't ride with him when I was in high school.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we used to go to the Ave, 165th Street, and go to the Music Factory. And he would go in there and, look through all the records. And, of course, he's always on that freestyle flex. So, But it was just interesting as a young boy. He wasn't in grade 8 yet because we were in elementary together at the time. So he didn't reach grade 9 yet. And he was already on that.
All right, he wrote it in the yearbook. Go back if anybody has a Linden School yearbook, and they
Oh,
say
word.
what you
I
want
got
to
it
be
right
when
under
you
my
grow
desk. I
up.
never even read it. I never even read that. That's
Yeah,
cool.
look in his yearbook. I think when he was graduating, you know, they asked him what you want to
Wow.
be when you grow up, and he was like, I
Ain't
want to
that
be
something?
a rapper like Run DMC or something like that. It was something where he made reference to being a rapper like Run DMC.
Y'all think I'm playing. I got the 1985 joint, B,
That's
under my
crazy.
desk.
That's
Anyway,
crazy.
I so got distracted by that. But yeah, I'm in was that when the dude graduated? Look at that. I'm not playing
I
with
don't
y'all, man.
remember.
1985.
Crazy. Reminisce.
85, bro. It's in
That's
my under
Linden.
my desk right
Yeah.
now.
When that
Anyway,
whatever that year was that he graduated, he's in the what do you
89.
want to
What
be? A
did
rapper
he
like Run DMC. He wrote it in there.
grade 4? So
Yeah.
yeah, of course I got just sidetracked and distracted. It's time for me to do that once in a while.
Yep.
But
Yep.
yeah, I'm looking for this. Who graduated? Famous. Oh my goodness, man. This is. I'm just gonna give y'all 1 second. I'm Mascala. I think he was in that same class with Mascala and them.
Yep. There's one with Tip
Jolie.
because Tip went there for a while too.
What you mean
Where
for a
he's
while,
standing
bro?
right next to Oliver Giddens.
Bro, Tip's mother, Mrs.
Davis.
John Davis. Davis.
Yep.
She worked in our elementary school, and when I went to August Martin, she worked security at Martin.
Yep.
When me and Dino went to Martin.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anyway, I guess we could come off memory lane because I'm looking at this like, oh wow, yeah,
Yep.
yeah. So it would have probably been like 84
Yep.
because the younger cats, this Jolie and them class in this
Yep.
in this, they were graduating. So it would have been like 84. I had to pull that one out. Anyway, yeah. What's up, y'all? So let me stop with the memory lane now. You got me all. Yeah. So I'm gonna hit the button like I said.
You know
And,
what I'm saying? Let's
and
go.
so quiet on the set. I'm gonna do it today. I can do it today, Quest. I should ask
Yeah,
you
you can.
permission. I can
No,
do it
you can
today.
do it today. Yeah, you can do it today.
Okay.
Quiet on the set.
Peace, y'all. It's your man Dave with my brother Quest, the man bringing you all things marriage, paying you huge dividends on your investment in time with us. We're talking about love, sex, having children, money, spirituality, life, communication, and anything else to help you thrive and win in your relationships. And guess what? This is grown folks' business. So get ready to make grown-up decisions. You know why? Because marriage ain't for suckers. That's the name of the program. Marriage ain't for suckers. All right, let's get into it. Hey, yo, Quest, it's time to give the people something, man. What we talking about today?
What up, y'all? Welcome to another edition of the Marriage Ain't for Suckers. You see it right there, Marriage Ain't for Suckers podcast.
Show off.
You know what I'm saying?
Because you know mine is sitting in my truck. Carry on. Pardon me.
You know what I'm saying? The Marriage Ain't for Suckers podcast. You already know who I am, the host with the most, Jay Quest, alongside my co-host, my man, my mellow, my man, L. David Harris. You already know.
Yo, get on the mic.
And MC.
Yo, Quest, what up?
What up, man?
Guess what? I got it today. Class is in session, man. Let's go.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Shouts out to everybody who tunes in and listens to us across all our many platforms.
Yeah.
I don't know where we are in terms of the viewing.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You know what I'm saying?
It's crazy. I think I put it on like 11 platforms, but I didn't count them. I was just ticking them off. Like which
no doubt.
1, 2, 3. I just ticked them off, bro. I'm
No
scrolling
doubt.
through. Let's go.
Yeah. So we got Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, all of those.
You already know it.
Yeah, you know what I'm
part.
saying? Like all of them right there. So yeah, shouts out to everybody who's listening. Do us a favor. If you're listening and you like the information that we present here at Marriage Ain't for Suckers, leave us a review. We'd love to get those review numbers up. And it's always a pleasure to be able to sit here with my dude, man, and discuss this thing that we're very passionate about called marriage. Yeah, how's things? You already know how this go. What's cracking on the island, man?
Yeah, we good, man. We good. We are GOOD in Jamaica land we love.
Yeah.
Life is life. I see you over there, man. I see you over there, Quest. But last week we didn't come on because listen, I'm getting ready. I'm already showered.
Yeah.
I'm already, just kind of cooling out and getting ready to come in here to get ready. And notice that we don't have no water. So I had to actually, since the plumber couldn't be found, I had to be the plumber.
Oh, wow.
So that's why we were not on, because it was an emergency, because the water was not going to come on. If it didn't come then, we wouldn't have had water. And so I had to make sure that we had water.
Well,
I don't have to worry about that kind of stuff, but we do.
No, we don't really have that issue. But I'll tell you what we don't have as well. We don't have that sunshine. I mean, we do, but it's different when you
It's
down,
a different kind of sunshine. It hit
down
different.
that part. And we got blue skies, but it's not that blue skies down there.
That hit different too.
And we got clouds, but they don't. Yeah, they hit different down here.
Even
right?
the clouds hit different.
They hit different down there. And more importantly, we don't have 80-something degree weather during the wintertime. And 90 something and all 100 something during the. I don't even doubt it's 100. It's hot, but the breeze, the way that it blows.
Ain't no 100 Fahrenheit in Jamaica nowhere.
None.
No time. I don't care where you are.
Something, but
even your hot Bay is gonna reach.
Yeah.
I guess you could get to you could get to 36, but that's a strange. I got to speak it the way we speak it, sir.
Yeah.
I can't use your Fahrenheits.
Yeah, you can't use Celsius.
Y'all look it up. But like when we got in the vehicle this morning, it was 21 degrees, man. 21, not Fahrenheit,
It's
21
Celsius.
degrees Celsius. And I don't even live way up where you can see your breath certain times a year, some of these hills. But
yeah.
so right now it's probably I'm guessing about 30 by now.
Yeah.
So it's pretty warm and nice.
Unbelievable.
Don't be mad. Just
Hey,
get
not
on the
to
plane.
mention we don't have the beaches. We don't have the rivers.
Well, you got rivers.
We got rivers, but they're not. Come on.
The
It hits
beaches.
different.
The beaches. There's no beach in America except if you include that great state of Hawaii.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
I don't know how Cali go because I ain't never been there.
Yeah.
And I guess if you go to the United States Virgin Islands, then you got something real good going on over there. I've been there a few times.
Come on. I'm
But,
just saying
yeah.
the islands, period. But
Florida is not going to cut it for this one.
Florida's not gonna cut it. You know what
No
I'm
diss to Florida.
saying?
Like shout
So-
to the Florida people.
Oh, I mean, no disrespect, but I'm just saying it's not Jamaica land. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's not.
Okay, before we vex all of the rest of the people listening, I guess we can get off of my subject and move on to more substantial topics, since we are here talking about marriage. Hey Quest.
Yeah.
Y'all know why I call him Jay, right? We go way back. So if I
we
say
go
Jay,
back.
don't think I don't know who I'm talking to. I know I'm talking to the brother right there. That's my
We
man.
go way back.
So listen, I didn't set it up properly on my screen, but you can see this. I'm gonna scroll it. I'm gonna scroll it slowly so y'all can see Quest's book. Click the cover to purchase
on.
now. Quest for Faith, the journey
Yeah.
to experiencing the phenomenal marriage that you deserve.
Deserve. Yeah, it's
That's
out.
by J. Quest Green right there. Forward
It's
by
out
Dr. Eric Thomas.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, man.
It is, man.
Exciting.
And so I'm excited, but it's gonna be a lot more because I don't want to let the cat out the bag, but Sir David Harris is working on a little something.
Yeah,
and,
there may be something down there. There may be something down there real.
7, not 1, not 2, not 3, 4, or 5, or maybe even 6, but 7.
Yeah.
biblical. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be keys and tips, man, to help y'all navigate and strategies to help y'all get through this. And for those of us that are believers, it's dope that you can have biblical reference to, you know what I'm saying, strengthen what it is that we talking about. So I can't wait.
Yeah.
And if you are anyone, like ask anybody who has been at any conference or seminar that David or I have done, and they will tell you. And then when we together in the same place, it's explosive.
We got to do that, man. So when y'all go to marriageaintforsuckers.com, you can go down to that form that says in-person event request. We almost got an online one the other day, Quest, but it's not going to work out this time. But listen, get us in the room. Get us in the room. I hate to say I promise you, because it's like a bunch of people saying I promise you.
Well,
listen.
here's the funny thing, D. I just did South Atlantic's married lovers retreat, and there was about 300 to 400 people in the room. And here's how. Let me tell you, man. Praise God for a lot. For real, just for blessing me to be able to do what I do. Right. The feedback that came back from that weekend was unbelievable. 2 couples walked up into church on Sabbath, right, D? Mm-hmm. And they were like, wait a minute, you Quest. I was like,
you Quest.
Right? And I was like, I know you. You were at the retreat this weekend. They were like, let me tell you something. We've been going to that retreat for years, and it was never as good as it was this weekend. I was like, well, praise God. Those are the confirmations that let me know. Like, it's dope when I do it for Dolo, but when me and D get in the room,
listen, I have a feeling we're working on some joint coaching programs.
That's I don't. I said, yeah. If you want to say it, D, you can. I ain't mad.
We are J. Quest Green, L. David Harris. We're working on, and that's at minimum because we are indeed married to wonderful women. Mm-hmm. Keep the Faith. That is Faith Green and Simone Harris. Listen,
me in the middle.
So we are working on currently, like, actively, and it's not in no embryonic stages. Like, we're working on different coaching programs that absolutely will revolutionize the experience that you have in marriages. So listen, don't play. We not playing.
I can't wait. Yep. So D, let's jump off in this thing today. Okay. Shouts out to everybody listening, but I wanted to touch this topic because it's something I believe that's becoming increasingly common in our society. And it's important to understand the potential risks associated with it. It's this idea of getting married for status or anything other than what marriage was supposed to be, for love, right? And for the purposes of enhancing the life of the person that you are, like for real, D. Faith's life should be enhanced simply because I'm in it.
Pause.
My life should be enhanced simply because Faith is in it.
Ooh.
However, there's 4 different things that I was focusing on when I was having this. Well, 4 different things that I took notes on when because while we were having the conversation, I was like, okay, I need to write some of this down because if I don't, I'm going to forget it altogether. Right. And so one of the things that I want to go to firstly is the fact of the danger behind getting married for status, right? Because it involves entering into a relationship that is not based on love or genuine affection. I'm going to say it one more time. And I'm not talking about surface love. I'm talking about like that deep kind of love. Of course, it starts surface, but as the years go by, it should get deeper and deeper. And so sometimes when you do it for status, it's not based on that kind of love or genuine affection. Instead, as a matter of fact, it's based on a desire to gain social or financial status. All right. Oh. And so this, in talking about it with my boy, can lead to a very unhappy and unfulfilling marriage, as the couple may not have a strong emotional connection, a strong spiritual connection, right? A strong mental connection. All the connections that we need are not going to be there simply because status or financial, is really what the focus is. So, I mean, talk to it, D.
Yeah. So there are a number of ways for people to do it. Like, I know a few. Yeah. One is like I'm hearing Quest saying, we talked about it, of course, but when, person X marries person Y because person Y has quote status. Mm-hmm. Person Y is not necessarily aware of this. Mm-hmm. So that's one way. I know of two other ways. There are more, but two other ways that I'm thinking of now. One situation I knew back in the day where a politician a politician married a woman just because, and they both knew. So they were aware. They were both on board, but they got married in order to further the politician's career as a politician, because that politician wasn't. This is not something I read in the news. I'll just leave that right there.
Yeah.
This politician wasn't a bit more interested in being married to the person than a man on the moon.
Mm-hmm.
But to further the career, that was the whole situation. And so, well, that didn't work out. And then another situation where a young guy is having sexual relations with a married woman.
Lord have mercy.
I said married woman. All right. Well, for whatever reason, the married woman decides whatever in her mind was great about that situation, and she propositions the young guy. She wasn't like a cougar or anything. So when I say young guy, both of them were young, but she was older than him. Mm-hmm. All right. So she said, all right, I want the young guy to be for me only.
Wow.
Even though she's committing adultery because she's married, and she goes up a notch and says, I'm going to buy the young guy a home to live in. So now the young guy is supposed to be kept by this married woman. So, and the rest of that story ain't nobody's business, but I'm just saying, like, that was a thing. And so what in the world? Like, does he take the bait? Does he say no? Like, so you mean you're going to take care of the guy so you can have him for yourself, but you're married to a dude? Like, how'd that work?
But here's the thing that immediately comes to my head, and I think we spoke a little bit about it earlier on, D, is that one thing you cannot get away from is character and integrity. Mm-hmm. Right? You can't get away from it. Good, bad, or indifferent. Whoever you are is who you are. And whoever you are is going to shine out. That's why when we always talk about making adjustments and becoming a better husband or a better wife, talking within context, of course, or whatever you want to do in life, right? It's an inside job. In other words, it has to be done from the inside out. It's about unilateral movement, right? Why? Because your outside is only as good as who you are on the inside. You can act right for the particular purpose. This is why the assessment is so dope, because it's who you are naturally versus who you are when you're adapting. Here's the funny thing. You know what they say about adapting to any situation. If it's not who you naturally are and you're adapting and you stay in that place for too long, you are going to be stressed out and ineffective.
Can I just add a little bonus on that one?
Please.
So you and I, we talk about natural, like that's who I am when I wake up in the middle of the night. You kick my cage, I wake up and I'm like, whoa, I'm awake. That's who I am regardless when nobody's watching. When I perceive or whatever that somebody's observing me, then I might get into my adaptive range. Mm-hmm. Got that. But if it goes too far, Quest, we don't talk about this too much.
Yep.
We can get to maladaptive. Now we're in the psych books. So if I'm keeping up airs for whatever reason, I am doing what I think needs to be done because person or people X or Y are observing me. And I feel like because there's some other trigger, there's some other negative situation going on, there's something that's causing me to feel like I need to be more like somebody else.
Yes.
Sometimes it gets so exhausting, then I turn to the bottle because I'm an imposter now. I may turn to some kind of illicit relationship. I may cut myself. I may decide that I want to jump off of something because I've adapted to the point and not gone back to the who of who I am authentically, that I'm using inebriants, I'm using all kinds of other things to be to shut the voice off in my head, to whatever I got to do, because I need to be this person that I'm not. So I'm gonna do whatever I can, and that always ends in tragedy. I promise you it does.
Just to be in that place and space is exhausting. You
Yes,
ever been
it
to the, you ever been to the point of exhaustion where you just like delirious? You just
Full dopamine dump. I've been there, bro.
I've been there. Been
Yeah.
so tired that I almost want to cry.
Yeah.
You feel me? So imagine what happens when you're doing that. So when when you were talking to that situation a while ago, I was like, okay, cool. You fronting, and if you do that, and you choose to marry somebody, right? Once again, when you marry somebody, you're marrying someone who is a reflection of who you are spiritually. That's really and truly, unless you are. If you are in that situation that you talked about a while ago, there's no way that your decision can be Christ-centered. It can't be.
You mean with the adultery thing?
Yeah, with the adultery thing, because I'm thinking,
Of course not.
if you taking a 19-year-old and you banging him out and you married to another man, you feel me? Like you trying to rock my man world, and you married to another man, and you telling the 19-year-old that, listen, you can only be loyal to me. In other words, like you it's only for me. While I got a husband, like,
And then leverage that thing and put property on it. You get to be in a house.
So if that's who you are in your spirit, and you marry this dude, right, and who you marry is a reflection of who you are spiritually, the chances are great that he's probably the same way too.
So he may have somebody on the side.
Oh, come on. So what happens now when he brings something to her and she brings something to you?
Everybody gets sick and dead and diseased and mash up in their brains, and yeah.
Okay. All right. So once again, whatever the reasons are that you are married, it's not for the purposes of love
Or
commitment, right? And if it's not that, then okay, good. So let's stay within the context now of the whole idea of, marrying for status, right? Or marrying for financial or social status, whatever the status is, right?
Right.
It could be for sexual status, in terms of just having your whatever the status is. So here's the second part to it, right? The second part that I was taking notes on is that the first one we said it can be dangerous, right? But here's another reason. Married for status can lead to financial difficulties, right? Because in many cases, one person may be marrying someone with a higher financial status in order to benefit from that person's wealth, right? And that can lead to what we said, a financial dependence, as the person who is marrying for status may not be able to support themselves, right, without their partner's money. So
right.
It can lead to feelings of resentment and can cause a great deal of stress in the relationship. Why? Because when you work for something, you treat it differently than when you didn't have to work for something. You know what I'm saying? Like, I see what happens. This is the reason why we do coaching sessions and what we do in terms of all of our stuff. They are paid services. Why? Because if it was ministry and we just did it without, then you just treat it frivolously. You're not going to do the work that you're supposed to do when we give it to you. But when you invest money like this, you work for this.
Yeah.
You're going to treat it money when you're investing. You know what I'm saying, D? Thoughts?
Yeah, and pause. There are a lot of people who are trying to kind of wiggle out of it and be like, no, that's not true. You don't know me. And I'm like, yeah, we got data, man.
Come on.
From me, I'm talking about me personally. Like from the early 90s, I have seen where when people don't invest in whatever the positive thing is, take it for granted, and then completely fall off. Not just take it for granted, but then just drop out completely. And so investing where your time is concerned, your energy is concerned, your finances are concerned, to get our marriages right side up is key. It's key. And so, yeah, there are people who do it for status. And one of my brothers, man, his name is Michael. And I never even really thought about it. And I'm ashamed that I never thought about it. Because, you know, some people say that basically if you're wealthy, then it's sinful, or somehow if you have little finances, that somehow that's honorable. And I'm like, that's not in the Bible. But hear what? There was a wealthy dude who was holy. His name was Job.
Yep.
And my brother Michael said, you know, Job lost it all in one day.
One day, bruh.
And he was holy. So you can't even say, oh, because he did something wrong. Oh, because he's a shyster. Oh, because he's a scammer, a criminal. It caught up to him. No. So if you marry Job, or if there's a female version of a Job and the dude marries her because of all of the lands, all of the other properties, and the favor, and then in 1 day, 2 days, 10 days, you lose it. What happens to your sham of a marriage?
Come on.
I said sham of a marriage.
Sham. I like that. Attention. I like that word. Sham.
You see? And so, and I know of another situation. Boy, I need to just really stop talking about these things. But, okay, boy, I have to be careful with this one. So I know of people who were high wage earners, mega, okay? Married presumably for the right reasons.
Right.
But one of the people would have this habit of transitioning to even higher status. And I don't mean it in any negative way. I'm talking about this is not good enough, and I can't be any more specific, but we're moving on up. They started high, both. But whenever the one who would move up, and there may be a quick break or a quick lull, then the other one talking about divorce. Every single time.
That's crazy.
And I'm thinking, well, what in the world causes this? And it was predictable. It wasn't like because one of the spouses just had this habit of moving up the ladder. It didn't matter if it's $1 million today, tomorrow, or no, that's exaggerating. $1 million today, in 2 years' time, it needs to be 3 million. So there may be a break at the end of the 3 years where it's just like, all right, for the next 6 months, I'm chasing that 3. And so, oh yeah, hit a bump, but always get to the 3. And then the next time it's 6. But in those little breaks, then the spouse is like, I'm out. I can't do this no more. And it's like, what? Where did you get this? I can't do this no more stuff from?
Dr. Dre, Elon Musk, Bill Gates, Peyton. Right.
Is that a sport? That's a sports person? Peyton?
Dude, we're back for the Peyton Manning.
Okay.
Quarterback for Tampa Bay.
Okay.
Married to the model, but he couldn't leave football alone. And he got the wife said he walks around the house with concussions. And she was like, yo, when the question to the same thing that if it was 1 million now, 3 million, 6 million, when is enough?
Boy.
And if enough is not enough on the lower levels, then enough can never be enough on the higher levels, right?
Yeah.
Which all right. So let me put this piece in there. One of the other reasons why status can also be dangerous is because when you're marrying for status, of course, is because it can lead to social isolation.
You just don't fit in.
Right? If a person is marrying someone, D, for their status, right? They could be entering into a relationship with someone who's not compatible with them socially or culturally. And that can lead to a lack of common interests, values, which of course at the end of the day leads to social isolation and loneliness. So look at all of these different areas. Speak to it, D.
Yeah, so I'm thinking me, like I live in Jamaica for those who came on late, right? So for different reasons, because of my upbringing, I fit in the ghetto scene. I didn't grow up in the ghetto, but I did grow up in the hood. They're related, but they're not identical.
Right.
So I can move in any hood, any ghetto,
Right.
right? But because unfortunately of some factors, I'll just leave it like that. I really don't feel like arguing about it. But some factors, I automatically quote fit in to the so-called upper echelon in Jamaica. Right? Okay. But that's external.
Yep.
I don't actually, from an intellectual, spiritual perspective, I literally don't fit in with the people who are in those circles for a number of reasons.
They don't think like
because
I do.
when I go into those circles here, I'm just so ready. I'm itching, ready to get out. Like I just need to go somewhere else because I literally don't fit in. So imagine now you married into it because you wanted the financial or the external visual, but then now you have to be at the dinner parties.
And they talking about stuff that is not even
You
remotely.
and I'll keep it in my context just because, you know, I have one. You're in Jamaica but there are schools. There's a school in particular that is based on a US system, and they're charging 30,000 US dollars per student per year.
That's crazy.
To go to school in one of the better K-12 educational systems in this hemisphere.
And here's the funny thing. They're doing this on US.
It's in Jamaica, bro. That's what I'm trying to say.
That's what I'm trying
it's
to
based
tell
on
you.
the US thing.
And do you know how many eons ahead they are? Because when it comes to math,
It's not even right.
okay.
So my point by even bringing it up is when you step into that zone, though, the people are different. And I don't mean it negatively. I'm just saying you have to decide, are you adjoining yourself to something you're not for whatever the outcome you're expecting, and then you realize, you know what, I don't like. I've seen movies back in the day where people did that and it just don't fit. It just doesn't line up. Right? Like when I was young, I had one uncle in Brooklyn. He grew up, he was born in the 30s, but he made it. Somehow he made it, man. He was in the funeral business, and he also was a nurse anesthetist. So he was a millionaire in the 90s, early 90s. He had made it. Well, I went out with him one time as a young boy. We hadn't made it. I dropped a knife at the restaurant, and I was about to pick it up, and you know, he stopped me. He said, they got people for that. Well, I don't fit into that. I love my uncle, but when I was about to pick up the knife, he said they got people for that. I don't understand people for me picking up what I dropped. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
And worse, if the people who are in that society recognize that the spouse is not about that life, and then they start berating the spouse, disrespecting the spouse,
Yep.
and demonstrating how you just literally do not belong in our space.
Yo,
Now you got a problem, Houston.
you know what I just thought about when you said that?
Uh-huh.
You are a believer. You live life according to a certain standard.
Values.
One area in terms of you, some way, somehow, you focused on what you didn't have versus what you did have. And this person has that financial piece. They drive nice and you like that. You know what I'm saying? They live nice and you like that. You know what I'm saying? They go to all the prestigious events and you like that. And for whatever reason, you get caught up in that. That's that one part. This is how one bad apple can spoil the whole bunch.
Indeed.
You know what I'm saying? So you have all of this bucket of apples that are of good fruit. And you got this one thing where you focus on that status boy. And you are now moving in those same places, but the conversations that they have and the integrity and the morality of how they get their finances is not one that is in, and before you know it, everything that was good to you and for you now has you in a position where you done trashed the whole lifestyle that you had. And your chances are greater that you could have achieved that on your own rather than attaching yourself to someone in order to achieve it if you just did it God's way from the jump.
So being disingenuous really doesn't win.
It don't.
And it just really doesn't matter which direction you go with it. We were talking about people doing it for status. There are people who do it in the reverse because for some reason they got that missionary mindset. And I don't mean it in a positive way. I'm talking about the stereotypical missionary mindset where they go somewhere and they call themselves fitting in and they go find a hut somewhere. And I mean this literally. And they say that they are, what did they say? They're mixing in with the natives, but really they're disrespecting the people who were there by saying that you had to, quote, lower themselves in order to fit in with people who were quite fine before you got there.
Lord have mercy.
You see what I'm saying? So I don't care how you flip it, mix it, twist it, and then this same person now marries someone that's, quote, one of the natives. And, you know, yeah, I've heard these words, bro. I married a little girl from fill in the blank place. Like your former president would have said a S-hole country. Yep. And then, and I'm like, who can say that? And they say it. The people who say stuff like that just say it without even thinking that maybe there's something wrong with it. It doesn't even occur. Like there's something wrong with me flipping what I consider status upside down because I'm giving her a come up in this S-hole country. And it's so quaint. It's not quaint. It's rich in resources.
That's it.
It was doing just fine before you got there.
That's it. That's it.
You see, so no matter how you spin or cut or flip this thing, it does not work out good in the end.
So here's the last one before we get out of here, right? In many cases, right, the person who is marrying for status may be entering into a relationship with someone who is not trustworthy or genuine, right? This can lead to emotional, we spoke about it before, physical, mental abuse, right? Where because you've entered into the marriage covenant can be very difficult to escape from.
Real talk. Yeah, it's leverage. It's a leveraging tool for the abuser.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And if here's the funny thing, if they off and they got dough, just same situation that you were talking about before, or I introduced when I was thinking about it. Now you're in trouble because they can use their money now to keep you right where you at, or make life a living hell for you.
I've seen this over and over again, unfortunately. Yeah, I even
because
wrote
they feel. You just said it a while. Sorry, D. You said it a while ago. You have that mentality where you married somebody from this little country, right? And now because I gave you what you needed for the come up, they sometimes if the morals, if the character, if the integrity is not right, they take on the mindset I own you.
Yeah, that chattel concept is just so evil. So evil, man. So the blessing is God has created all of us to be free moral agents, never to be manipulated or controlled in our minds by another mind, right? And therefore, when we make decisions for marriage, it should be based on principle. I'm not going to tell you which principles, but you know what the word principle is. PLE. Look that up. Principle. Yep. And if it's based on principle, then you win. If you happen to marry into what people consider to be status, whatever that means, that's quite fine. If the basis, the foundation of the marriage is principled, no problem. But if it's for the purpose of what you consider to be status, you're looking in for a really painful, hard ride, and it's not going to end pretty.
Good word. So I'm going to say this piece before we jump out of here because I think it's important, and you say it at the close of every
Mm.
every episode, right? When we do the outro.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to enter into a marriage based on, as you say, mutual love and mutual respect, rather than for social or financial gain. Why? Because by doing so, couples can build a strong,
Mm.
rock solid,
Mm.
and fulfilling relationship that will stand the test of time.
Wow.
Because that's really what it's built for, right? For richer or
Yeah.
for poor,
Mm-hmm.
sickness and in health. You know what I'm saying? Until death do us part. It was created to stand the test of time. It was built for life. Well, you have to build it for life. So y'all already know, from shaky to good, good to great, we want phenomenal. You already know.
There you have it, y'all. I hope you've enjoyed your time with us. Marriage is about mutual love and mutual respect, and it works for those willing to make it work. Real talk, our spouses are treasured jewels given to us to make life better. And the sooner we learn to value one another will be the sooner we become the absolute best versions of ourselves we can be. Until next time, peace.